It's the height of morel mushroom season now, so I figured I'd make a special video on how to identify, cook, and find morel mushrooms. So you can see I found a lovely morel mushroom right here. It's a very lucky find if you find one. They're a very good choice edible mushroom. So if you find one, you'll know there's going to be probably a small cluster around. So if you find one, then make sure you look in the general area. They can grow near in the general area of either living trees or dead trees. They grow out of the ground. They don't grow out of the tree. So they have like a mycelial system that attaches to a tree's roots. And they're mycorrhizal, so they feed off of living trees. But also they do have some wood decaying properties. So you'll find them growing out of the ground, but kind of in the general area of a tree. It could be either living, dead, or dying. And some trees that you'll find them next to, so I've heard, are, I guess, elm, ash, and oak are some trees. If you know how to identify trees like that, I don't know. They grow in the spring, so March through May is their main time. So if you're identifying the tree that it's next to, chances are you're going to be identifying it by the bark because the leaves haven't really grown that much yet. So that's why I'm not really good at identifying. I couldn't identify some trees by the leaves, but not by the bark. But it might take a while for you to actually find one. But keep looking, it's worth it. It might take years of looking before you actually find one. But once you do, you know you could come back there after like every rainfall during morel season. And you can come back there every year and they'll pop up at the same spot. So once you find your special spot where the morel mushrooms grow, or maybe you're fortunate enough to have them growing in your backyard, remember where that is, and then you can come back there every year or after every rainfall during morel season. Alright, so this is our final harvest. We got 13 morel mushrooms and a couple of dryad saddles. So the first thing is that this is my first time actually finding a significant amount of morels. I usually just find them like one at a time, maybe in someone's lawn, and then that's all I find. But this time, I got a whole spread, and I got a couple different spots that I know to go to for the upcoming years. So all of these mushrooms are the same species. They're yellow morels. There's 3 types of morels that are found in Illinois: the yellow morel, the black morel, and the half-free morel. So all these are yellow morels. The black morels look the same, except they just have black caps. And then you can see the cap here, how these ridges part and the stem meets all the way. It just connects all the way to the stem for all of these. On the half-free morel, there'll be a little ridge that kind of sticks out and is not attached to the stem. So that's how I know these are yellow morels. One thing to look out for when you identify them is there's a lookalike that's poisonous called the false morel. Some people do eat them after like intense like cooking and it's non-toxic, but I would say don't do that. Yeah, you should need the false morel. It's poisonous, and it's one of the few poisonous species of mushrooms that can actually kill you. A lot of them would just cause GI upset, but the false morel can kill you if you eat enough of it and you don't cook it properly. So some key differences between the false morel and the true morel. I don't have any examples to show, but the false morel has like more irregularly shaped caps. So you can see these ones have a nice beehive-like appearance. They have weird shapes, but they, form these nice little ridges. The false morel would look more like irregular than this. It looks kind of like a brain, maybe, not this beehive-like shape. And then also, the stem is not hollow. The inside is not hollow. So you can see this one has its top missing, and obviously there's a hole in the stem. You can see all the way through it. So any morel you find should be hollow. You can see even this one looks a little bit weird and irregular. This big one here, you can still see that it's hollow on the inside. So that's how you know that it's a true morel. That's how to identify morels. And then these dryad saddles, they also are growing at the same time. They're also edible. Just the inner part is going to be more tough. So we're going to cut it and just keep cutting around the edges until it feels like it's too hard to cut and too tough. And that's how you know it's not good. So yeah, that's the first step, is to identify them. And then next, I'm going to just give them a quick rinse. And then you see all these little holes. Imagine all the little insects that would want to crawl through here. So it's important that you soak them in water so that whatever's living in there comes out and you're not eating all that. So I'm going to get that ready. I'm going to rinse them off and then I'm going to soak them. So you can see I have them soaking here just for a few minutes so that whatever insects live in there will crawl out. You can already see this one starting to crawl out because they don't like the water. So yeah, these are all yellow morels, even though you can see they're kind of different shades. Some of them are darker or lighter, but they're all the same species called the yellow morel. And that's the only species I've found today. I think it could either be because the half-free morels and the black morels are maybe not as abundant in this area, or probably also that they're darker in color, so they might blend in more with the surroundings, so they're harder to find. Because, you know, you can see these ones are standing, especially this one is a nice bright one. So yeah, these are all the yellow morels. My favorite one is probably this big irregular one, or probably these ones. They're twins. Oh, I just broke. Oh, okay. But yeah. So yeah, this is my morel mushroom harvest this year. I'm also going to cut them in half so that I could wash out the insides. Yeah, this is why you want to make sure you soak them and cut them in half and rinse out the insides. Little millipede hanging out here. I'll go put them outside. Alright, so I got everything cut up the way I want it. Okay, cut up the morel mushrooms however big you want. I'm just going to leave them cut in half. And the dryad sandals over here. I'm going to cook this with garlic and oil. Garlic and olive oil. I'm using about 5 cloves of garlic because I'm going to make like garlic and oil pasta with it too. So it's going to be a lot. And then I'm going to cook it with garlic and olive oil and a little bit of lemon juice. And I'm going to crust it with Parmesan. That's just the way that I cook them. But yeah, morel mushrooms are a type of mushroom that you can't eat raw. You have to cook them, otherwise they'll give you an upset stomach. But they're really good if you cook them. So yeah, that's just how I'm going to make. I'm going to make garlic, olive oil, and Parmesan encrusted morel mushrooms with garlic and oil pasta. Alright, so I started cooking up the garlic with just a little bit of olive oil, just to cook it up a little bit. And now I'm going to add in all the mushrooms. Oops, there's still water in there. Okay, hang on. Alright, I added everything in there. And I added a little bit more olive oil drizzle on top. So I'm just going to let that cook until it gets a little bit tender. And I'm going to add some Parmesan. So they'll get like a nice Parmesan crust and wait until that gets brown. And I got the pasta boiling here. Once the mushrooms are done, I'm going to add the pasta in the pan with some more olive oil too to make some garlic and oil pasta. Alright, so here's the finished cooked mushrooms. So I just cooked them until they were tender. And I added a Parmesan crust so that nice and brown. I did have a little bit of a hiccup because I accidentally poured a bunch of water in there. So I had to like wait for it to boil off. But hopefully that will add some extra flavor, stewing in its own juices. So for this dish, we have some people that don't like mushrooms. So I'm going to remove the mushrooms from the pan so I could make the garlic and oil sauce for the pasta. But I think it would be better if you just mix the whole thing in together, if you can do that. But yeah, so I'm going to separate these and I'm going to just make the pasta with, try and leave as much garlic as I can back in the pan. And then I'm going to add more olive oil. And then that's going to flavor up the pasta really nicely. And we'll have mushrooms on the side. Alright, here's the finished product. Everything all together. And I made some frozen fish fillets, but I just threw those in the oven. There's no really recipe for that. So I'll set this down. Alright, here's my dish. Now this is the part of the video where I pretend that I have no idea what this tastes like, and I pretend that I haven't been eating it all the while cooking it, like all the other cooking videos have. I'm just going to do my taste test now. We'll see what it tastes like. Got the dryad saddle. Wow, that's really good. And then, famous morel mushroom. This is a delicacy you can find outside. I got it for free. So yeah. Oh yeah, it's really good. It's very delicious. Even without all the cooking and stuff, all the added flavors, the mush flavor just really is really good on its own. So you can do whatever recipe you want, I think, for these. But yeah, those are just some tips on how to find, identify, and cook morel mushrooms. Plus the added bonus of the dryad saddle. And yeah, I hope you find lots of morel mushrooms this morel season. And I hope you have a great time foraging. So be sure to like and subscribe for more nature videos, and I'll see you in the next one.